My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of the TV show The Ritual. The Ritual? I hardly know her. I've never actually played the games The Ritual. I've been meaning to play the Sword one, but right now I'm trying to make my way through the Resident Evil series, and I'm kind of stuck on the fourth one, even though that's everyone's favorite because of tank controls and they're driving me crazy. But I do plan to get to the game. But this is a review of the TV show, and I don't know what I was getting with this. I was kind of expecting some sort of Game of Thrones knockoff, but I do think this show does enough to be its own thing. And I think lots of that is on the strengths of Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is great in this show. He's got it. You know what I mean? He's got the it factor. He's got that on-screen presence that Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Cruise has. He's got it. He can be charming and charismatic in Man from U.N.C.L.E., but then he's also got a role like this where he's very serious, but he still is very easy to watch. He just carries the show perfectly, and this show would not have worked without him. He made this show what it is. I also like his character, Garrett. He's a very quiet, emotionless person, but sometimes he does show a hint of emotion, and during those moments you're like, oh, okay, he is empathetic in moments. Not always, but you have to own it to get there, and I like that kind of character, and he's very entertaining to watch. Anya Trey, I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly, but she plays Lennifer, and she's also really good in this show as well. I like Lennifer's character growth throughout the season, and where she starts off and where she ends off. It's two very different places, and I liked watching her get there. That said, I do wish they dove deeper into her character, but one factor of her character drove me crazy. Like, she wants to be good looking and hot, so she does this magic stuff or whatever, and then right before she gets it done, they're like, if you do this, you will not be able to bail. Do you understand? And she says, yes, I understand. And then it's such a big part of her character for the rest of the season for her to be like, they didn't give me a choice. I can't build children, and they didn't give me a choice. But it's just like, hold on, rewind, blah, 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 blah.
You will bear no more. You understand?
A child? What could you possibly want with a child?
They took my choice. I want it back.
They did give you a choice. They even asked you, do you still want to go forward with this? And she said yes. So they did give her a choice. So that entire aspect did not work for me whatsoever. I did really like it when Garrett and Lennifer were together. I thought they brought certain aspects of their personalities out that I would have loved to see more of, but they're only really together for 2 episodes, so that's a bit of a disappointment. I could have used more of them together. Joy Beatty is also good as Jaskier, and I loved that character, and I loved his friendship with Garrett. He was always singing, he was always talking, while Garrett's just really quiet, he's not saying much. So I kind of liked what they brought out in each other as well. I liked their dynamic. And there's a song that he sings at the end of episode 2, Toss a Coin to Your Ritual, and that song is unbelievably good. Like, it is great. Toss a coin to your ritual, oh many a plant. It's great. It's a great song. I really dug that song a lot. I would have loved for them to play it more in the show. The musical score isn't anything amazing in the show, but there are moments that stand out. Like when Yennefer transforms in the 3rd episode and she starts dancing with that guy. The music in that scene is great. And there are other moments where it stands out, but the score itself isn't amazing. This show does take an episodic approach to whatever story it's trying to tell, and I say it like that because I don't know what story it's trying to tell. Each episode is very disconnected from the last, and they do build in small ways, but not enough in a way that feels like one giant cohesive story. But I actually didn't mind the episodic approach. There are fun episodes, like there's an episode with a djinn, which I really dug. There's an episode where they have to go hunting for a dragon, which I really like, even though when they find the dragon at the end, it's so stupid and goofy looking, because they find the dragon and he's talking to them, but the dragon doesn't move his mouth, and it looks so absurd.
Sir Witcher and his sorceress. Hello again.
I also really loved the second last episode of the season because it recontextualized the pilot episode in a way that I thought was really well done. And some of the action in this show, specifically the very first episode, is great. That said, there's also like this big epic battle at the end of the season, and I could not have cared less about it. it didn't feel properly built up to. It felt like they had this big battle just for the sake of having one, just because they were like, well, Lord of the Rings has a big fantasy battle, and so does Game of Thrones, so maybe we should too. I just didn't care about the battle whatsoever. I didn't feel the stakes. I didn't care what was going on. It just felt like they did it for whatever reason. I wasn't a big fan of how they told the story either. Like, it focuses on 3 different characters, Garrett, Lennifer, and Ciri, and I wasn't even aware that their timelines were so different from the last. Like, this show is jumping all over the place time-wise, and I didn't really gain a sense of that until episode 4, where it became abundantly clear, but there could have been some more indicators, and even the way they told the story, I don't think it really added much to the overall show. It's just like, oh, okay. And that's it. It doesn't have a lasting impact. I will say that Ciri's plot of the show, which seems to be the big factor of the show, was boring. I never cared for her. It was the Bran Stark storyline of this show. I've only seen Game of Thrones seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4, but every time that they focused on Bran, I'm just like, I don't care about him. Get back to the good storylines. And that's what it felt like with Ciri here. Another reason why I didn't care for her or her storyline is because it's based upon this rule called the law of surprise, and it's the dumbest thing ever. And when you find out how it came into play, it gets brought into play in a very comedic manner, and the fact that so much of the show and its storyline is based on one single joke is just stupid to me. And even the law of surprise itself, it doesn't make any sense, and like the name itself, the law of surprise. It's stupid. I hate it. Speaking of which, episode 4 was an entertaining episode, but my god, was it heavy-handed. Like, they're talking about destiny and the law of surprise, and it's just like, you've got to accept her destiny, and it was just very heavy-handed. It was very in your face. Not the best written episode, but entertaining we go. I'm curious to see where the show goes, because if I'm being honest, by the end of the season, it didn't really feel like a cohesive story was told. It just kind of feels like a prologue to a bigger story that's on its way. Like, as much as I liked spending time with some of these characters and some of the action scenes that happen, it didn't really compel me story-wise. And I am curious to see where they take these characters in this story, and maybe they take it to a place that feels a bit, well, better story-wise. But just like I said, it feels like a prologue. This, by the end, I'm just like, that's it? Like, what really happened this season? Like, yeah, the episodic approach can be fun and entertaining, but then after a while, you're just like, is there going to be more to this than this? And the answer is right now, I don't know. And I hope they expand upon this 4th season in interesting ways. But I still think Henry Cavill is great in this. The rest of the cast does a fine job. There's some great action in it. There's some entertainment to be had. It's not going to blow your mind. It doesn't compare to Lord of the Rings, or it doesn't compare to the seasons of Game of Thrones I've seen. It's not even close. It's fine. I watched it. Will I watch it again? Probably not. Will I watch season 2? Yeah, I'll give it a chance. So I'm going to go ahead and give The Witcher season 1 a 6 out of 10. Okay, did you watch The Witcher, or did you decide to ditch her? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.